Hey guys, this is Vengeful Parrot here from Two True Reviews, and today I'm going to be doing a review, I guess you can call it, on Transformers Rise of the Dark Spark. This is for the Xbox One, and if I remember correctly, this was another request that was put in about a month or two ago now. Again, obviously been terribly busy at work, haven't had time to do this for a while, so here we go. Now, I started off by saying that, this was a review, if that's what you want to call it, and I'm only saying that just simply because I haven't beaten this game yet. And why haven't I beaten it? Well, that's a multi-part answer, but in short, I'm not going to beat it. This particular game, I don't know, it was definitely a noble effort, but it's something that's very clearly catered towards children, and because of that, you can tell in every aspect of the game that the production quality is very, very low. The models in the background right now are honestly much better looking than what they are in the game. The models are very low poly, the textures aren't that great, the animations are very subpar. The voiceovers are okay. I mean, they're not bad and they could definitely be worse, but they're not really the greatest. The script in the game is awkward. I mean, I don't know where, if at all, this is supposed to take place during the movie timeline. The recent movies that have come out, but I swear every time something bad happens, Optimus Prime talks about how it's their darkest hour, and that's in both the movies and this game. In one of the movies, or maybe both, or all three, I don't know how many there are. I think I only saw two of them. So if there are only two, then that's probably a good thing. If there's a third, I haven't seen it. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Anyways, so, yeah, at the beginning of this game, something bad is happening, and, Optimus is giving his epic speech of epicness, and he's like, "This is our darkest hour," and I'm like, really? Is it really? Because, everything else up to this point has been your darkest hour. Do you just live in eternal night? Is that is your life that bad? Anyways, so there's that, and part of the game takes place on Cybertron, and I don't really understand why. I think they are assuming that you will piece together, I guess, the fact that it's supposed to be like a past versus present kind of thing. However, at least as far as I could tell, they didn't actually do that in the game. They just kind of sent you to Cybertron. It was rather confusing at first, honestly. Now, this game, as you're going to see, has very, very simple gameplay mechanics. And those gameplay mechanics are definitely very child-friendly, but at the same time, there's a lot that they don't explain that would definitely help kids out. And this honestly isn't a very easy game. And I say that it's not very easy for a few different reasons, but it's primarily due to the lack of any sort of controller feedback. When you get shot and hit, there's a very light indicator, as you can see around the center of my screen, pointing in the direction of that, but there's no radar whatsoever, as you can see. Excuse me. So if you're getting shot and you can't pinpoint exactly where, because the enemy's really small or flying, which happens a lot, by the way, both of those, it can be a little difficult to figure out where you're getting shot from. And the controller vibration is next to non-existent. It is hardly there at all. Now, this game is, it has like a leveling system. You can see in the lower right there that, excuse me, I'm level 7. And I don't really think there's like anything important about that level. I think maybe it kind of is cross-compatible with the multiplayer side of the game, which I have not and will not touch, because if the campaign's not good enough for me to want to continue, I can only imagine what the multiplayer is like. But the game, as you can see on the right, has a bunch of challenges. It says Cybertron History X, Grapple Stomp, and Insection, which is those like little insect robot things that I was just shooting. It has those, as well as a long list of challenges that you kind of complete as you go through. And each time you complete one of those challenges, or each time you level up, you get a gearbox. I don't have any right now, but essentially those gearboxes are akin to the like the packs that you could buy in the multiplayer of Mass Effect 3. They unlock everything, which is a little weird since this ties into the single player aspect of the game, but it works on both the single player and multiplayer level. Like when you go to spec out your character in multiplayer, you can only pick characters that are available because you've unlocked them, and you can only pick weapons that are available because you've unlocked them, along with these things called hacks and these consumable items down here. Now, we obviously have a primary weapon and a heavy weapon, and you switch between the two using Y. Now, as you can see here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different primary weapons unlocked, and the rest are currently locked. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have about 5 that are locked and 4 that are unlocked, which isn't bad, I suppose. But in order to get them, you either have to conveniently be a character that would by default have them, but if you switch it out, you get rid of it forever, unless you unlock it later, or you just pick one of the ones that you have unlocked. Now, this terminal thing is essentially your loadout terminal. They will have them randomly throughout the mission, and you just walk up and hit X, and you can change, your different primary weapons. You can change your heavy weapon, and you can assign consumable items as well as hacks. Now, these hacks are essentially XP boosters, and they modify the game in a certain way. I don't have very many of them right now because I have been using them, but there are some that will make it so that like you do double damage, but the enemies also do double damage or something like that. There's one that your fire rate is doubled, but the enemy has more health. There's this one, where enemies drop less health but more ammo, so you get a 75% boost to the XP that you earn. And this is drop less ammo but more health. So as you can see, these can have an effect on the gameplay, and they do affect how much experience and everything you earn. And as far as I can tell, those hacks will only continue to be in existence for the duration of that one life. So essentially, like, you'll get that XP boost, but if you die, you lose it, and it's gone forever until you get another one through one of those gearboxes. And then all of these consumables are everything from like instant heals to this thing, the dimensional decimator, destruction, gravitational bomb, tears a hole in fabric, space, and time. It essentially is like a grenade, I guess is how you could think about it. And it would stun larger enemies but kill weaker ones. There are all these different kind of things. Like this is a force shield. This is a guided cluster grenade, pretty self-explanatory. This is for when you're in vehicle form. It'll power you up in all sorts of ways. 4 times XP multiplier, all that kind of stuff. Just lots of little things, and you can use them by either. Wrong button. And you're not going to let me back in. Come on. There we go. But you can use them. As you can see, I've assigned the 4 XP multiplier to left, the shield restore booster to up, and the energon recharger to right. And you can use them just simply by hitting those corresponding buttons on the D-pad. And then you will use them, and if you run out of them, then that slot on your D-pad essentially will be empty until you go back and change it to something else at one of these terminals. Now, the only other thing that you can get other than characters, consumables, and weapons from those gear boxes are the weapon upgrades themselves. Now, as you can see here, the Gear Shredder is the current heavy weapon that I have equipped. And if you look under the upgrades section, all but one are currently grayed out, essentially. Those are the upgrades that I have not unlocked yet. The white one, Trick Shot, is the only one that I have unlocked. I'd love to be able to show you what the upgrade menu looks like, but I can't because I don't have any upgrades. It essentially just makes that like orange outline of the weapon a little bit bigger and puts dots on it, I guess, where the upgrade would go. Maybe, I don't really know, but essentially you would you earn upgrade points. It's not like a specific upgrade, but you earn upgrade points, and then you can use those upgrade points to pick one of the available upgrades for that weapon. But you do only get upgrades for specific weapons. It's not like you just get one universal point that you can use on any weapon. You know, like if I get an upgrade point, it will be for the Neutron Assault Rifle, and that's it. Like I can't use that upgrade point on the Path Blaster or the Riot Cannon or anything like that. So that part is pretty specific and everything, which is a little bit annoying, but I kind of understand why they did it. Now those gearboxes, if you ever get any duplicate items, like let's say I got a duplicate character or something, it converts it into a consumable for you, which I guess is nice, but also at the same time I can't help but think that it should convert it into more than one consumable. Anyways, so moving on to the gameplay. Obviously, the right thumbstick is to aim around, left is to move, all that kind of stuff. The right button is the special power for that character. In this guy's instance, I believe his name is Sideswipe. He's an Autobot. He has a grappling hook that he can do that kind of stuff with, and I'll be able to climb up there and everything. It's kind of useful. As far as the challenge that I currently have of grapple, stomp, and insection, I don't know how to do that. It hasn't even tried to explain to me how to do that. Now, on the right side we have, or lower right side, we have my special ability as well as the amount of ammo I have, represented by that number, and then that blue bar is how much ammo is left in my magazine. If I reload, it fills back up, and the icons above that are representative of my consumable items that I have equipped. Now on the left side we have my shield, the yellow bar, my health, the number, and the blue, I guess, hashed bar, and then the tiny green bar below that is representative of my yellow, or no, why did I say yellow? Of my level experience progression. Now, in order to transform into your vehicle form or whatever, you just have to click left thumbstick, which is kind of nice. And there's essentially two forms to your vehicle form. There's this form where you're kind of just, you know, floating around typically, or flying or whatever, and you still have access to your weapons and everything. And then if you hold left trigger, that's essentially your act like a car function. And the steering on the cars is awful. The steering on all these vehicles is honestly just awful. I very rarely enter these forms unless I have to. So, yeah. Now, I'm going to go up here and fight some more crap, and probably get my butt kicked, but that's okay. Now, just so you guys know, I know that I do typically play games on a harder difficulty, however, I am playing this one on normal. and it does still seem to be rather difficult. And that's primarily just because, especially on these levels, the enemies... Dang it. Excuse me. The enemies do have a tendency to move around quite a bit, and that makes it a little hard to aim and actually hit them and everything. And not only that, but like I've said before, the lack of any sort of force feedback makes it difficult to determine when I'm actually getting shot. I was actually stuck on a certain part before where there were a lot of like little kind of ball drones that would fly around and shoot me with, you know, a fully automatic assault rifle, essentially.
I'll use my grapple to pull you up. I'm sure there's an...
Oh!
There we go. Don't look so mean. I'll scout out a way to the next ledge.
But, anyways, like I was saying, the feedback is pretty much non-existent, and there is an option to toggle it on and off in the controls menu under settings, but even when I fiddled around with that, I mean, it is on right now, but even turning it off and then back on, it didn't really seem to change anything. There are very, very, very minor vibrations, but nothing that's really detectable when you're in the heat of the moment. You know, it's like very, like, little, just kind of like, you know, like jerk kind of vibrations. Less than what you would experience when a phone is ringing, you know? So, that's kind of annoying, but, you know, I suppose it could be worse. I am obviously clearly capable of playing through the game still, it just makes it that much harder. And when enemies are flying around above you and they're super tiny, like those drones that I was talking about, it can make it a little difficult. And this game isn't of the quality that I can honestly see very many older people playing it, which honestly kind of makes me feel like the only people that would be playing it are kids, and I feel like it's a little too difficult for most kids. However, I could be wrong. I mean, obviously kids these days are more up to date, I suppose you could say, as far as games go than what I was when I was their age. Because when I was, you know, like 10, 11, 12, that kind of thing, you know, I didn't have huge sprawling 3D worlds like this to play with, and I didn't grow up on that, you know, when I was younger than that. I mean, my family had, let me think, we had, I think, a Sega Genesis, a Super Nintendo, and an NES, and we didn't get a Nintendo 64 or anything beyond those three consoles until much later. Probably when I was, I don't know, maybe 12, I think, is when we got our N64. So I was pretty much stuck with a lot of, you know, two-dimensional games up until that point. I never had a PlayStation or anything like that. So anyways, I'm rambling, getting way sidetracked here. My point is that I think this may be a little bit difficult for some younger kids. Why do I keep doing that? I don't know what game uses left thumbstick click to do anything important, but I keep hitting it at the most inopportune times when I'm playing this game, so... but yeah, like I was saying, this seems like it'd be a little bit more difficult for some of the younger kids, but I could totally be wrong. Obviously, if you're thinking about buying this for a kid... What, is there still a bug or something? You're supposed to... Anyways, so if you're thinking about getting it for, you know, a younger kid or whatever, then, you know, I mean, you could, but if they aren't too involved with video games, you may want to consider something a little easier. Especially when it comes to, you know, essentially dying or, quote-unquote, going offline in this game. They are very unforgiving with the checkpoints. Like, last time I played through this section, I got all the way to the top level, I guess you could say. and encountered a glitch, which I think I'm encountering another one right now. And essentially, like, I got stuck in, like, the you're about to pull this guy up with the grapple kind of position. Like, I was standing there and I couldn't move anywhere else. Okay, I can hear you, but where are you? Oh, my gosh. There we go. Okay. Yeah, like I got, not this one, but the next one, I got to right here, and my character didn't grapple. He just kind of stood there, and I was locked in that camera position. I couldn't move or anything, so I had to restart, and it restarted me all the way down at the bottom.
Not yet. Lots of bugs up here, though.
And again, I mean, that's not exactly too terrible. However, I feel like for a game like this, and considering, you know, the lack of feedback and the controller and all that kind of stuff, that they could have been a little more forgiving with the checkpoints. There are certain sections of the game where you have to, like, you know, go to like 3 or 4 different computer panels and fight a whole bunch of guys in between, and even if you get to the very last computer panel and you die, you're pretty much toast. Like, you're not going to be able to do anything beyond that. Alright, no glitch this time. That's nice.
Welcome to the top.
Alright, so, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, the checkpoints could be a little more forgiving, but other than that, I mean, the gameplay mechanics are okay. Again, there's nothing too amazing about this game. It's very... Close the doors behind you. Okay.
What did you do? The doors are closing.
I don't know. I'm trapped in here now.
Hold on to your manifolds. I'll try and open the doors from here.
Anyways, like I was saying, this entire game is nothing super fantastic. It's a lot of very just standard stuff. Nothing that I feel like anybody absolutely needs to play. Again, if you're looking for something for someone who's maybe a bit younger, then that's totally different. But I don't know. I mean, if you have any standard for quality when it comes to the games that you buy and like to play and everything, then this probably isn't going to be your best bet. Because like I said, there aren't very many good aspects about this game. Not that there's anything bad about the game, but there's just nothing amazing, if that makes sense. Ooh.
You all right?
Okay.
Where are you?
Well, I'm down here now.
I'm fine. Somewhere outside the complex, but my GPS is down. There's a huge chasm here.
You know what I always say? High-tech circuitry.
No replacement for nuts and bolts. Yeah, I know. What's your point?
Well, I was going to say, it's no replacement for field training. So use your optics to find a way and meet me at the rendezvous.
Anyway, okay, sorry. Yeah, like I said, nothing too great about this game. If you're super bored and you don't really mind a substandard quality game, then you may want to give it a shot, but I definitely wouldn't spend, you know, $60 on it or anything. I wouldn't honestly even spend 40. 30 would probably be pushing it. That would only really be if I were getting it as a gift for somebody. Personally, I would spend at most about 20, 25 bucks on this game, and that's only if I was super bored, had no other games to play, and money to burn. So yeah. I don't really think there's much else that I can go over in this game. I'm going to go ahead and open up these gearboxes that I got. That way you can see what it looks like and everything. Let's see, what did I get? We got the scatter blaster. That gun's useless. It's essentially a shotgun and is about as good as killing things as wet paper. Ooh, already had him, so I get a 4x multiplier. Consumable. I got a weapon upgrade, so I'll show you that real quick, and another consumable. Alright, another weapon upgrade for the EDK Tech Volt. More consumables, weapon upgrade for the thermo rocket cannon, which is actually really good, another consumable, and another consumable. And yes, you do have to go into the pause menu to open those. Even though you get a notification when you access these terminals that you have unopened gearboxes, there's no way for you to open them from this menu. So, let's see. Alright, new weapon upgrade available. Yay! So as you can see, for the EDK Tech Volt, I already have the amplifier pack, which increases the amount of reserve ammo I can have, and the hyper interlink, which speeds up my reload time. Now, the only one I can currently gain access to is the Energon Cell Conductor. It increases beam damage. In order to access this one, I have to unlock all three of these, but obviously I already have two, so I can just get that one, which increases beam range, and get this one, which is electro diffraction beam will destroy all incoming projectiles, which is actually kind of useful. So yeah, ooh, and I got an achievement for that. That's awesome. I don't care. Alright, so yeah, that's essentially all the weapon upgrading is, you know, you go over to the weapon you required an upgrade for, look at it, and pick whichever one you want. Nothing too, you know, amazing about it other than that. So yeah, those are my thoughts on this game. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, if you disagree with me even, honestly, send me a message, put something in the comments. If I manage to find free time, I will get around to it. So yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, let me know what you guys thought. If there is a game that I haven't reviewed that you want to see me review, drop a comment below, send me a private message, something like that. As I mentioned in my last video, I am fairly busy at work still, so private messaging me is probably going to be the best way to go, just simply because I don't always have time to go and look through all the comments and everything. And private messages are something that I get email notifications for, so I will know that I've been, you know, asked a question or something like that. That being said, I am about to get really busy at work again, so I may not have time to do this for, you know, about another month or so. But, you know, we will see. Other than that, you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and this is Vengeful Parrot, signing off.